Namo Buddhaya, the Satasahasrika Prajnaparamita Sutram, the Lunch Sutra on Perfect Wisdom, the chapter 27, the Shrine, Victory over the Defilements. Thereupon the Lord said to Śakra, chief of gods, if Kauśika, any son or daughter of good family, while he takes up this deep perfection of wisdom, or bears it in mind, preaches it, studies it, spreads it, repeats it, or wisely attends to it, goes right to the front of a battle while it is in progress, and he either lies down, walks, sees, or stands after he has gone into battle, it is then impossible that it cannot be that, while they take up this perfection of wisdom, wisely attend to it, any arrow, sword, or clod will be hurled at that son or daughter of good family. Or if these weapons were hurled at them, that they will fall on them, and it is impossible that there will be a check on their life from the attacks of others. And why? Because for a long time they have, of course, in this perfection of wisdom, vanquished the arrows and swords of their own greed, and their own hate, and their own delusion, and also the arrows of the swords of the greed, hate, and delusion of others they have vanquished. They have vanquished the arrows and thorns and swords of their own wrong views, obsessions, and evil inclinations, as well as those of others. It is in this way that an arrow or sword aimed at the body of the son or daughter of good family doesn't actually hit him. No occasion for attacks from others. Moreover, Kauśika, if a son or daughter of good family will take up this perfection of wisdom, bear it in mind, preach it, study it, spread it, wisely attend to it, and if he also is not lacking in the thought of all knowledge, then if someone would sprinkle him with a drug, or work devil lore on him, or put him into a fire pit, or strike him with a sword, or give him poison, or throw him into the water, all that will not affect him. And why? A great lore is this perfection of wisdom, the utmost lore in this perfection of wisdom. The son or daughter of a good family who trains in this lore does not set his heart on disturbing his own peace, nor that of others, nor that of both himself and others. Right and perfect enlightenment. And why? He doesn't make as a basis of his self or of others, or of both himself and others. He doesn't make a basis of form, feeling, up to consciousness, the Buddha Dharmas, or even the knowledge of all modes. Since he doesn't apprehend them, he doesn't set his heart on disturbing his own peace or that of others, or of both himself and others. He acquires the utmost right and perfect enlightenment. He surveys the thoughts of all beings. And why? As they train themselves in this lore, the former Tathagatas have fully known the utmost right and perfect enlightenment. And also those Tathagatas who will be in the future period, also they will train themselves in this lore, fully awake to the utmost right and perfect enlightenment. And also those who are just now in the 10 directions, the immeasurable Tathagatas, they also have, by training themselves in this lore, fully known the utmost right and perfect enlightenment. The worthiness of being worshipped. Moreover, Kauśika, where this perfection of wisdom, after it has been written down, has been taken up, etc., there are men and ghosts who seek for entry, who search for entry, do not gain entry. And why? Because they're so as to worship the perfection of wisdom. All the gods in the great ritually cosmic arrange shelter, defense, and protection for these sons and daughters of good family, who will bear in mind this perfection of wisdom after it has been written down. And those gods will come there to honor, revere, and worship the perfection of wisdom, and having worshipped it, they will go away again. He who bears in mind and preaches this perfection of wisdom after it has been written down will have these qualities and advantages belonging to this life, just as those who have gone to the circumference of the terrace of enlightenment or to its interior cannot, even with the help of evil animal beings, be hurt or injured by men and ghosts. And why? Because seated on it, the Tathagatas of the past have known full enlightenment, and so do those of the future and of the present. And after they have known full enlightenment, they establish all beings in ease, fearlessness, freedom from anxiety, lack of fright, non-enmity, inviolability, and undisturbed peace. And having done so, they established countless beings in heavenly and human benefits in the fruit of stream winner, etc. And why? Because this perfection of wisdom makes the spot of earth where it is into a true shrine, worthy of being honored, revered, and worshipped with flowers, incense, etc. Resolute faith. One aims at one's own welfare. Very weak. Śakra. Suppose that there are two persons. One of the two, a son or daughter of good family, has written down this perfection of wisdom and made a copy of it, bears it in mind, honors, reveres, and adores and worships it with flowers, wreaths, and perfumes, unguents, aromatic powders, strips, or clothes, parasols, banners, and flags. The other would erect a stupa for the relics of the Tathagata, who has gone to Parinirvana, and look after it and would honor, etc., it with flowers, etc. Which one of the two would get a greater heap of merit? The Lord. I will question you on this point, and you may answer to the best of your abilities. What do you think, Kauśika, with regard to the knowledge of almost which the Tathagata has obtained, and to that body which he has brought forth? In which progressive practices did the Tathagata train so that he could obtain the knowledge of almost and bring forth that personality? Śakra. It is because the Tathagata has trained in this perfection of wisdom that he has obtained the knowledge of almost. The Lord. So it is, Kauśika, it is through training in the perfection of wisdom that I have obtained the knowledge of almost. It is not by the acquisition of this body which is the basis of the relics, and that the Tathagata derives his name, but from his having acquired the knowledge of almost, and this knowledge of almost has come forth from the perfection of wisdom. Just so, this body is the true foundation of the cognition of the knowledge of almost, and supported by this foundation has the Tathagata obtained the knowledge of almost. That is the true foundation of that cognition of the knowledge of almost, that has this body become a true shrine for all beings, worthy of being revered, adored, worshipped, honored, and saluted respectively. Just so, when I have gone to Parinirvana, also my relics will be worshipped. The son or daughter of good family, who having written this perfection of wisdom, will take it up to study and bear it in mind, etc., to honor, revere, adore, and worship it with flowers, etc. He will perform worship to the cognition of the knowledge of all modes, compared with him who deposits the relics of the Tathagata, who has gone to Parinirvana in a stupa made of the seven precious things, looks after them, honors, etc., them. Someone who studies and worships this perfection of wisdom does beget the great heap of merit. And why? For come forth from it are the five perfections, the various kinds of emptiness, the four applications of mindfulness, etc., to the 18 special Buddha Dharmas, all concentrations, all dharanas, the maturing of beings, the accomplishment of the Buddha field, the Bodhisattva's accomplishments of the family, the body, the enjoyment, the retinue, the great friendliness, the great compassion, the good warrior, Brahmin, and the householder families, the various kinds of gods, the stream winners, etc., to practical Buddhas, the Bodhisattvas, the great beings, the Tathagatas, the knowledge of all modes. Moderately weak, Śakra. Those men of Jambudvita who do not honor, revere, adore, and worship the perfection of wisdom, do they know that the call of the perfection of wisdom is greatly profitable? The Lord. What do you think, Kauśika? How many men of Jambudvipa are endowed with unbroken faith in Buddha, the Dharma, and the Sangha? How many are free from hesitation about the Buddha, the Dharma, and the Sangha? How many are unquestionably certain about the Buddha, the Dharma, and the Sangha? Śakra. Only a few, the Lord. What do you think, Kauśika? How many men of Jambudvipa have acquired the 37 dharmas which act as wings to enlightenment, and 3 doors to deliverance, etc., to the 6 supernal knowledges? How many have, through the forsaking of the 3 predators, become stream winners, etc.? To how many have set out for the enlightenment of a particular Buddha or for full enlightenment? Śakra. Only a few, the Lord. So it is, Kauśika, so it is. Few are those beings who are endowed with unbroken faith in the Buddha, Dharma, and Sangha. Fewer are those who are free from hesitation about the Buddha, Dharma, and Sangha. Fewer still those who are unquestionably certain about the Buddha, Dharma, and Sangha. Fewer still those who are acquired the 37 Dharma which act as wings to enlighten fewer and fewer those who are stream winners, etc., to those who have set out for full enlightenment, and fewest those who course in enlightenment. And why? Because formerly, when they wandered about in samsara, they have not seen the Buddha, heard the Dharma, honored the Sangha. They have given no gifts, failed to guard morality, developed passions, exert vigor, developed the trances of wisdom. They have neither development nor sort of the perfection of given, etc., to the knowledge of all modes. It is by this method, Kaushika, that one should know that few are the men of Jambudvidva who are endowed with an unbroken faith in the Buddha, etc. Fewest are those who will earnest intention, course, and enlightenment. Leaving aside Kaushika, the human beings, what do you think how many living beings of Jambudvipa have acquired the 37 dharmas which act as wings to enlightenment, etc., to have set out for the enlightenment of a particular Buddha? How many living beings in Jambudvipa have no hesitation about the supreme enlightenment or about Buddha, Dharma, and Sangha? How many honor their parents and the elders of the family, give gifts, guard their morality, observe the Upasata days? How many perceive that they ought to be agitated about their body, perceive that it is impermanent, that it doesn't belong to them, that it is unlovely, or perceive that there is nothing to delight in anywhere in the world? And how many have set out for the supreme enlightenment? Śakra, very few indeed, the Lord. So it is, Kaushika, so it is, just as you say, if you are the living beings who have acquired the 37 dharmas which act as the wings of enlightenment, etc., who have set out for the supreme enlightenment, fewer than these are those who course in the supreme enlightenment. Fewer still than these are those who want to fully know the supreme enlightenment. Here in Kaushika, with my unobstructed Buddha, I see in all directions, in countless world system, innumerable beings who course in the supreme enlightenment. Of this, perhaps one or two, not lacking in perfect wisdom and skill and means, might be definitely established on the irreversible stage, but many more than two will be definitely established on the level of the disciples or practical Buddhas. And why? Those who are lazy or inferior vigor, inferior beings, or inferior resolve, and stupid find it hard to come up to the supreme enlightenment. Fairly weak. Therefore, then, Kaushika, those sons and daughters of good family who have set out for the supreme enlightenment, if they want quickly and easily to know the supreme enlightenment, they should learn this perfection of wisdom buried in mind, preach, study, and wisely attend to it. In addition, they should honor, revere, and worship it with flowers, etc., and whichever other wholesome dharmas are contained within this perfection of wisdom, they also should be learned, etc. These perfections, the various kinds of emptiness, the super knowledges, and all the other immeasurable Buddha dharmas. And why? Because those sons and daughters of good family will recognize that therein the Tathagata has trained in the past, when he coursed in the practice of a bodhisattva, that they also should train in it, and that the perfection of wisdom is the teacher, and that also the other immeasurable Buddha dharmas are the religion of the Buddhas, the Lord, the training in this perfection of wisdom, etc., in the knowledge of all modes, the Buddhas, the Lords, the particular Buddhas, the Arhats, the never returners, the once returners, and the stream winners have gone beyond. Go beyond, will go beyond. Therefore, then, Kaushika, the sons and daughters of good family should, whether the Tathagata is present or has gone to parinirvana, run back to just this perfection of wisdom, to perfection of concentration, etc., to all knowledge, etc., to the knowledge of all modes. And why? Just this perfection of wisdom, etc., to just knowledge of all modes is the support of the disciples and practical Buddhas, of the Bodhisattvas, the great beings, and of the world with its gods, men, and asuras. Weekly medium. If some son or daughter of good family would build for the worship of the Tathagata who has disappeared in the final nirvana stupa made of the 7 precious things, 100 miles high and half a mile broad, and would all his life honor, etc., it with flowers, etc., what do you think, Kaushika? Would they, on the strength of that, beget a great heap of merit? Śakra, they would allow the Lord. Greater would be the merit of that son or daughter of good family who, having copied this perfection of wisdom, will learn it, bear it in mind, preach, study, and wisely attend to it, will reveal it to others, will not be without the thought of the knowledge of all laws, and will, in addition, honor it, revere, and worship it with flowers, etc. Moderately medium. Leaving aside the stupa, if some son or daughter of good family, when the Tathagata is gone to Parinirvana, would fill this Jambudvita with stupas made of 7 precious things, hundreds of miles high and half a mile broad, and would honor, etc., them all his life with flowers, etc. What do you think, Kauśika? Would they, on the strength of that, beget a great deal of merit? Śakra, they would have learned. Greater would be the merit if one who learns the perfection of wisdom, etc., as before said. Strongly noted. And the same holds good if we replace Jambudvipa by this 4-continent world system, or weakly strong by a small chilicosm, or medium strong, a medium D chilicosm, or strongly strong, a great 3 chilicosm. One aims at the welfare of oneself and of others. Very weak. Leaving aside the great Utilicosm, if each of all the beings in the great Utilicosm would build stupas, etc., greater will be the merit of those who learn the perfection of wisdom. Śakra. So it is, Lord. Those who honor, etc., the perfection of wisdom to honor, etc., the past, present, and future Tathagatas. If each one of all the beings in the countless world system in all the directions would build stupas, etc., and honor, etc., them for an eon or for the remainder of an eon, would they, on the strength of that, beget a great deal of merit? Though they would, Kauśika. Śakra, greater would be the merit of those who would learn, etc., the perfection of wisdom and mind, because in this perfection of wisdom are contained all the wholesome dharmas, the 10 wholesome paths of the action, and the knowledge of all modes. This is the religion of the Buddhas, the Lords. Having trained therein, all the disciples and particular Buddhas, as well as the past, present, and future Buddhas and Lords, have gone to the beyond of all dharmas, do go to it, will go to it. This is the end of 27th chapter of the largest sutra on perfect wisdom, Satasahasrika Prajnaparamita Sutram.